Rightio, we're live on Hog Out, and we're going to be talking about the games over the weekend, or the last two games anyway, yesterday. And we're going to do a little quick preview of tonight's game, CSK versus KKR. That is a very important game for both teams. And then I've got someone special coming on for a quick little chat. That's Tushar, and he works in the newsroom of a prominent news channel in India. Who would it be? Let's find out after the break. Well, I think this live, I think some of the Indian fan favourites might be a little bit upset with me because there are a few performances over the weekend that I weren't happy with. And Tushar's got a question for me later on about one of them. But quickly, let's go for the first preview of the weekend's game. That was Mumbai Indians. Who were they playing on the weekend? The Delhi Capitals. The Delhi Capitals really needed to win this, and they let the Mumbai Indians get off to a cracking start. They didn't bowl well in the power play overs, but lucky they've got Axar Patel there, spin, to just slow things down. He bowled beautifully. I think the Delhi Capitals, let me get my glasses sorted, the Delhi Capitals are missing Kuldeep Yadav. There's no question about that, and Mukesh Kumar. So two prominent bowlers in their bowling attack that's a very, very hard to get away, especially in the middle overs with Kuldeep Yadav and the death overs of Mukesh Kumar. Not having those two, their balance of their team disappears. And Andre Norkie is not bowling out his best, going for 32 off the last over. That's not good enough from Norkie. If you look at him, I think he's gone for 20 or more off and over 10 times this IPL. He's not in rhythm. I can see him falling away, and also he's just lacking pace, and he's not executing that Yorker. But if they can get him right, all of a sudden things will start flying. But on the Mumbai Indians, their two opening batters were sensational, getting them off to a good start. I think they were 80 after 7 overs. But then Hardik Pandya in the middle, he went out a strike rate of around about 113. That's not good enough when you've had a good start and you're seeing scores getting chased of around about 250 in this IPL. And it was a good wicket last night, so he had to keep the momentum going. He's lucky that he had Tim David and what's that West Indians name? Shepherd, coming in out the back end with some dynamite big hitting out the back end. So for me, those two particular players saved the day. And I just thought Delhi Capitals really chased it down well. But when they were losing wickets in the last 2 overs, they couldn't get Stubbs on strike for long enough. Players were coming in trying to play the big shots rather than get one and get Stubbs on strike. But I'm liking the Delhi Capitals, their batting lineup with Warner, Shaw out the top, Stubbs and Pant, but they don't have much more than that where they can really dominate against other teams. So Delhi Capitals don't have their batting depth, and their bowling is falling apart because they've got injuries. They haven't got Kuldeep Yadav or Mukesh Kumar in there, and they really need Norkie to be fully fit. They need that extra pace. I know they've got Jai Richardson there, but you've got to use Jai Richardson in the overs up front where he can swing the ball, but he's no good in the death overs. Okay, that's enough for me of Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals. Both teams need to win the next couple of games to stay in the contest. And well done to Mumbai last night. I'm glad that they had a win. Bad luck to Delhi Capitals. Right, who we're talking about next? Lucknow Super Giants versus the Gujarat Titans. The Gujarat Titans, they're gone. They're out. I don't think they are going to get back into this year's IPL. David Miller is injured. They can't have Kane Williamson coming in at number 3. He's too slow. They don't have anyone with high strike rates that can really take the game on. So for me, their batting has fallen apart, and they're lacking in bowling depth. Lucknow Super Giants, Mayank Yadav, if he is injured, well, I'm going to find it very difficult for them to be in the final four out the back end as well. But I really like the way that they've set up with their batting. They've got a very dominant batting lineup, and the likes of Stoinis finding a little bit of form in the middle orders, and then you've got Paran. Those big hitters coming in really balance the team, and they've got good Indian batters of Rahul and Padikol, and Quinton de Kock. He's going to fire and not fire every day, but when he fires, Lucknow get off to a great start and they give themselves the best opportunity for a big score. When he doesn't, then Rahul and Padikol have got to steady the ship and try and get them in a position where the likes of Stoinis, Paran and Dhoni can really dominate out the back end, and they can turn a relatively slow start into a dominant score out the back end. And I like the way that they adapted last night. They've got plenty of spin options, but the one thing for Lucknow Super Giants with Mayank Yadav not fit, that will be a big problem. And I was very impressed with Yash Thakur last night. I was a little bit worried about his bowling in the first couple of games that he's played, but last night I just loved the energy. I loved the way that he wanted to be in the contest. So Lucknow aren't out of it, but Mayank Yadav, his fitness will play a big part for them moving forward. If he's not fit, then their bowling might let them down out the back end. And we'll talk about that with Tushar's questions later on. All right, we've got the big game tomorrow, haven't we? Or tonight, should I say. CSK are hosting my team, KKR, down at Chennai. Now, this is a big game for Chennai. They need to turn things around because the game that they lost out Hyderabad was a game that they should have won. The conditions there were conducive to their team. It was a slower pitch, and they had injuries to their pace attack. And Rahman going off to Bangladesh to get a visa for the USA did not help as well, because he would have been the perfect bowler, especially out the back end on that pitch to slow things down. If they had Rahman there, as well as Rana, should I say, they would have won that game, but they lack in pace bowling depth. That's where they lost the game. But here against Kolkata, they have to be switched on. They have to have Padirana there bowling in the depth to be able to counteract Andre Russell and Rinko Singh. If Padirana is not fit, then those two batsmen will clean them up in the back overs. But then we're going to go to the power play overs. The Chennai Super Kings opening bowlers aren't good enough right now, or don't have the extra pace to keep Narayan and Salt down. Those two are going to get KKR off to a good start in the first 3 or 4 overs. And when that happens, their middle order come out with not much pressure on them and can play with absolute freedom because of the batting depth of KKR. But then we're going to jump over to CSK's 2 opening batters. They have to lift, Ravindra and Gaikwad. Gaikwad can't afford to sit there and try and bat through the innings anymore. He's got to take a few risks in those first 6 overs. Against Hyderabad, you had Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who was just operating on a good length, didn't have to do anything else because Gaikwad was just playing him nicely. Didn't try and take a risk and put him off his line and length. You've got to take risks at some stage in IPL, especially in the first 6 overs. If you don't and let the bowling team get on top, all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball because you haven't made the most of the power play. So tonight, sorry, Chennai Super Kings fans, I know there's a lot of Chennai Super Kings fans out there that do follow this. I'm going to have to go for my team, KKR. It's not good for the team in yellow, but I've been wrong a couple of times over the last couple of days, so things might turn around. And the other thing with KKR too, I think they have Narayan as well as Chakravarti and Sharma. I think their spinners are more dominant on varying conditions than the CSK bowlers. So for me, the KKR spinners are a lot more adaptable, and that's the other strength for KKR tonight. Anyway, let's get in to the special guest today. NDTV Newsroom. We're going down there. Tushar, where are you? Where is he?
Hello. Good morning. Namaste.
Namaste. And you go for the thing, don't you?
Yeah, I'm working with him.
Yeah, Punjab Kings 11. Where do you think the Punjab Kings are at the moment?
They are at the sixth place as usual,
Yeah.
but currently hoping that they will crush into the playoffs this time. That they will
No.
make it their place into the top four.
Right, they've got SRH tomorrow. Who do you think will
Yes.
win that game?
According to me, the is going to be a very tough contest because Sunrisers Hyderabad is like a very, very batting heavy team. And other than that, they also got a very heavy bowling lineup. But
Yep.
the same thing that lacks in Punjab's lineup is the deep batting because apart from the openers, the middle order is not like contributing much. But
Mm.
I think in the last game, like the way Shashank Singh contributed, I think we need another innings like that in the game against Hyderabad.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the two teams. If you're looking at the Indian backup batters in the middle order of both teams, the thing I like about Sunrisers Hyderabad is you've got youth in that team,
Yeah.
whereas the Kings, they're around about the age of 30, most of them. There's two of them that are in their 30s. With that experience, they should be doing a lot better than what they are.
Yes.
So I'll fly back over to Sunrisers Hyderabad. Abhishek Sharma, he's been sensational up top, and he's kicked out Agarwal. That's a big move. And then you've got the two youngsters down the lower order that are batting around Klasan and Markram, and that gives them good balance, and that's helping the future of Indian cricket, whereas the Kings aren't. So for me, I think Sunrisers Hyderabad are going to be too good for your guys tomorrow. And I'm sorry to say that. Sorry to say that. The Kings have been disappointing most years. Do you think they recruit well?
No, I don't think so. That but the main mistake that they made that during the auctions, I don't know why are they spending so much money, and I don't think that the buy of Sam Curran was actually so right. Spending 18 crores on an English all-rounder, I don't think that was the right move.
Would you spend 18 crores on Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, Cameron Green, Glenn Maxwell, Sam Curran, or Hardik Pandya?
I think Glenn Maxwell.
Glenn Maxwell.
I've already
Right.
seen him playing for my team in
Yeah, yep,
2014, so that was the
yep.
only year we actually topped the table. So I want
Right.
to
So
see him
you
again.
you
So I
want
want to
Glenn
see him
Maxwell
again
in
to
your
play
team?
for my team. Yeah, Glenn Maxwell.
Right. Rightio. No problems. Okay. Now you've got a few questions for me. Let's get into it.
Yeah, the first question is regarding Virat Kohli.
Yep.
So a lot of debate has been going on that despite scoring a ton, he is being criticized because of his slow strike rate. Like he scored ton in just 67 balls,
Yep.
but and team only managed to post 183. So
Yep.
do you think that he could have done anything better to like take the team total to his to across 200?
Yep. Oh, definitely. I think and I just mentioned it with Gaikwad as well, not taking risks in the power play overs. If you look in that particular game, they're going out 10.5 and over, I think, after the fourth over. Then Ashwin came on, and neither Duplessis or Kohli took a risk against Ashwin in that particular over when you've got only two fielders allowed in the deep. So for me, you've got to take that risk to try and find a boundary in those power play overs. You can't have a power play over that goes for three. And between the overs of 4 and 10, Virat Kohli went out a strike rate of 100. So when you've got Maxwell, Cameron Green, Denish Karthik in the sheds behind you, as well as Lomror, who's played some good damaging cameo innings, you're putting pressure on them by not keeping the run rate going. The game has changed now. You've got an impact player. You've got extra batting in your lineup that you can bat deep. And if you look at the average strike rate with games going around, I've got it down here. It's well above 140. So if you're batting first, the average strike rate in this IPL is 160. I think if you look at a venue like Lucknow, I think that that pass strike rate will come down a bit because it's slightly bigger ground and the pitch is a bit difficult to bat on. Same with Hyderabad at the moment. The pitch has been slow. So a high strike rate there, even though there's some small boundaries there, could come down out the back end as well. But when you're playing out Bengaluru, where the ball comes on and you've got short boundaries, you've got to have better strike rates than that. So for me, I know I'm being hard out Virat Kohli. He is one of my favourite players in all formats. He's got the most runs in IPL cricket, but you've got to go with the times. And the times right now state that if you're none down after the fourth over, you've got to keep going hard. If you don't keep going hard, all of a sudden you bring the opposition team into the contest. And I think if you're looking at your World Cup team too, going to America, it's not just about the amount of runs that you make. So you could have the highest amount of runs in IPL cricket, but there could be 2 other or 3 other players that average. So let's say Virat Kohli averages 70 and you've got 3 players averaging 50, but a strike rate of 180 compared to 140, which Virat Kohli is. I'd rather have that person averaging 50 in my World Cup team, because your strike rate is the main thing to put pressure on the opposition teams. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. So
Yeah,
we are talking about the RCB versus RR game. So
yep,
there are many people who are also criticizing Faf's captaincy, that he could have
yep.
used Glenn Maxwell as a bowling option that day, but he did not give him even a single over. So,
Well,
any
yep.
words on that?
Yeah, no, I think they made a few blunders there. They had Duggar coming in and bowling left arm off spin, inexperienced in that 5th over. I thought they could have gone to Cameron Green, because Butler was struggling against pace. Butler has been struggling in the tournament, and you've got that extra bounce of Cameron Green with a harder ball. I think that contest or that matchup would have been a lot better than Butler bowling to Duggar. I mean, Duggar bowling to Butler. And also you've got Sanju Samson there as well, just with a little bit of extra pace from Cameron Green. If he wants to play that pull shot, would have that extra bounce just caused him just to top edge one out there and create a catching opportunity out on the deep, especially with a longer boundary. But if you look at it as well, they had Duggar bowling to a longer boundary on the leg side, but he's turning the ball away, and he's not experienced enough like Ashwin and Chahar, who were the Rajasthan Royals spinners, where they could follow the batsman. He wasn't able to follow the batsman, and he just allowed Butler to free his arms through that offside. So that's something that Faf probably got wrong for RCB in that particular game. But RCB, we're talking about the auction with Sam Curran. They just spend too much money on big name batsmen, and they forget about their defensive game. They don't have the right bowlers in their defensive game. Siraj, I think, sensational. Reece Topley is very good with the new ball, but I don't think they've got much when it comes to death bowling. And if you look at the RCB venue, I've played in many games at RCB, out Bengaluru, where if you don't have good death bowling, you can get punished in those final 5 overs if you've got wickets in hand as the batting team. So that's something that RCB probably don't look too well when they go to the auction table.
So there's a lot of controversy going on regarding the captaincy of Mumbai Indians, like the way Hardik Pandya got appointed the captain. So, and a lot of criticism, a lot of booing from the fans. So do you think the franchise could have handled the situation a bit better?
Yeah, look, I think the franchise probably could have handled the situation a little bit better. I can understand Rohit Sharma's captaining India in all 3 formats, so it's pretty tough on him with the workload both as a player but off the field as well. When you're captain of your national team, it's just not what you see on the TV. Press conferences, media. If something happens, he's always vulnerable to the media. They always want to speak to him. And then he's got to be doing the extra work with the BCCI, helping with selections of teams, and there's so much on his plate. So Mumbai Indians were definitely looking for someone to lead that team. Hardik Pandya started out the Mumbai Indians. His heart's with the Mumbai Indians as well. But also Gujarat, that's the place or the state that he's from as well. Is that right? He was born in Gujarat, wasn't he? Gujarat
Yes.
wanted him back there. Yep. So I think Hardik Pandya coming over, I think there's a little bit of conflict with his heart as well, because he's got so much passion for the Mumbai Indians, but he's also got this Gujarat out the front and centre of his heart as well. So I think Hardik himself is a little bit conflicted. And if I look at the first 3 games that I saw him captaining, he's very energetic as it is, Hardik Pandya. But I thought he was over the top with his energy in those first 3 games. And I think he wasn't thinking as clearly as what he was when he was captaining Gujarat Titans. So now that there's been that booing at Wankhede Stadium, yesterday I thought he was a lot calmer than previously, but just having that win under his belt, I think that will just calm things down for the Mumbai Indians, and I think you'll see a better leader from Hardik Pandya moving forward. But I can understand the fans booing. I don't like it because Rohit Sharma is their favourite player, but they also expect a lot from Hardik Pandya as well. But you've got to remember, we're in a time now where players are virtually a piece of meat as such. Hardik Pandya wasn't retained by the Mumbai Indians. They retained 4 other players. So Gujarat Titans offered him a leadership role plus a big paycheck as well. Why wouldn't you take that? And then coming back with a big paycheck as well and not performing early on, I think the Mumbai Indians fans were very disappointed with the way that he started. But I think it also comes on the back of, too, they should have won that game against the Gujarat Titans, but the Gujarat Titans were booing Hardik Pandya because he left. But then Mumbai lost, and Mumbai hadn't had that success before they got to Wankhede. All of a sudden, right, we've had enough of you, Hardik, as well. So, and that's what happens when you're not winning, and you've had that little bit of controversy around you as well. The crowd can really turn on you very quickly, which is disappointing because Hardik Pandya plays with a lot of flair. I had a go at him just then with his strike rate in that middle period, just in the last game. That nearly cost the Mumbai Indians. It was lucky for that 32 off the last over that saved them from Shepherd. But yeah, I just think Mumbai Indians, as you said, could have handled it a lot better than what they did. It's a big money spend going from Gujarat Titans to the Mumbai Indians. And the Mumbai Indians are generally a family as well. And what was disappointing about it was Cam Green did really well for the Mumbai Indians last year, and they got rid of him. So for Hardik Pandya, thinking that Hardik Pandya was going to offer more, I think Cameron Green is better suited to the Mumbai Indians or Wankhede pitch than out Bengaluru, even though they're fairly similar. But with the batting lineup of the Mumbai Indians, I just thought Cameron Green was better suited out number 3. Whereas going to RCB, they want to try and utilise him out different phases. So yeah. Anyway, what's your next question? Hopefully, I answered that well enough for you.
Yeah. So the World Cup will be played immediately after the IPL, and a lot of discussion is going on regarding the wicketkeeper role for Team India. So, based on the current form, who do you think can take that spot?
Sorry, what was that?
So, who do you think can? Okay, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
I think you just cut out there. I think the question was, The wicketkeeper on current form for
Yes,
India.
yes.
Who would I pick in the T20 World Cup? There it is. Yep, beautiful. Sorry about that, everyone watching in. We just had a bit of a delay there on my end. For me, I'd go Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson has been consistent over the last couple of years. I go back to my comments about Virat Kohli earlier. You want people with high strike rates. Sanju Samson has been carrying the Rajasthan Royals both as captain, both as a leader with the bat up front, and he's done it consistently. It's time for the Indian selectors to back Sanju Samson in the T20 format for a longer period of time. So for me, Sanju Samson on form right now is the player that I would go with. Pant, he's got a couple of 50s early on in this particular tournament. But for me, he's got to show a little bit more consistency. I just think Sanju Samson can bat in a variety of positions, but at number 3, he is my perfect choice as keeper batsman at the moment. I'd put him in front of Rahul and Pant, and I think he's putting pressure on Virat Kohli if Virat Kohli is going to bat 3 in your T20 World Cup rather than open in your T20 World Cup team. So, yeah, that's the way I see it as a selector.
So based
Pretty
on the
tough
current
there, aren't I, Virat? Sorry, Virat.
Yeah. Who do you think who are the top 4 teams that will be qualifying for the playoffs in this IPL?
Definitely Rajasthan Royals and Kolkata Knight Riders. I think Sunrisers Hyderabad, if they can continue their dominancy on their home soil, they might be able to get over the line. But I don't think they'll get there. Lucknow Super Giants will definitely get there if Mayank Yadav is fully fit for the rest of the tournament. So just wait and see on that one. And then for 4th place, it'll depend on tonight. If Chennai Super Kings lose to KKR tonight, there's going to be some holes to fill there. But Delhi Capitals, if they can get their injury concerns right, get Kuldeep Yadav and Mukesh Kumar back in the lineup, and Norkie all of a sudden turns his form around, I can see Delhi Capitals still climbing up and putting pressure on CSK and Lucknow Super Giants to get that final 4 spot. So that's where I see it. I mean, up there in that playoff spot. So Delhi Capitals, Chennai Super Kings, Lucknow Super Giants will be playing for a position of 3 and 4. But KKR and Rajasthan Royals will definitely go through to the playoffs. I think Rajasthan Royals, for me, are the best balanced team. I just like the way that they are set up throughout their whole lineup. If Sandeep Sharma can get fully fit as well, that adds that 6th bowling option. And they've also got Saini there. I think Saini's joined the squad now after coming back from injury. I just think Rajasthan Royals are the team to beat right now. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing of young Parag from the Rajasthan Royals, just thinking about them. He's the youngest player to make a 50 in IPL cricket. I love his energy. I love the way that he fields. I just think he's really matured this year. Last year, just watching him, I think he had a bit of a strut on him. And when I say this, I don't say this disrespectfully, but I just think there was a little bit of ego there last year. He's still got the ego this year, but it's in control. He's got controlled ego this year. He believes in himself, which is a great thing, but just controlling that ego. And when I say that, all of a sudden it's not, he's more worried about what he can do for the team rather than trying to cement his place in the team, if you know what I mean, if you can understand what I mean. So Parag, for me, is the most important thing for Rajasthan Royals to win this year's IPL, because he'll be the man that makes the difference in the playoffs for the Rajasthan Royals when they get there. So for me, Rajasthan Royals are the favourites. What are your top four now that you're back online?
So according to my top four will be Rajasthan Royals, KKR, Sunrisers Hyderabad, and Punjab Kings.
Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings. Right, we'll find out which team tomorrow night is going to be close to there. No, but I love the fact that you've gone from the Punjab Kings from the start because of Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh has gone to another couple of teams, but you haven't jumped ship. I absolutely love that. Now, have you got any more questions? Because I've just got a couple of people over here that have asked
I think
questions.
I think I've got what I needed to ask.
Yeah. So Artel Baral, he's always on here, Tushar. Don't you think RCB should blood Will Jakes in the playing 11 out the cost of Cam Green? Artel, that is a very good question, but you've got to have Cam Green in there at the present moment. You've spent big money on him. Virat Kohli's firing out the top. For me, you've got to back Glenn Maxwell and Cameron Green in that middle order, especially with what Cameron Green offers with the ball. Otherwise, if you bring Will Jakes in, I don't think he's going to make a difference. It's up to Green and Maxwell finding form for RCB to turn things around. I don't think they can. I don't think they should be blooding Will Jakes, and we don't know whether they've got the mega auction next year or not. If they have a mega auction next year, why bother blooding someone? You're here to win a tournament this year. What do you think, Tushar? Got Tushar in the newsroom, NDTV.
Yeah, I think based on the current performances of Cam Green, I think RCB should go with Will Jakes now. I think it's high time. If they want to make it if they want to bounce back in the tournament, I think they need to bring Will Jakes into the play.
Rightio, so you're opposite to me, and I love that. I absolutely love that you're opposite to me. We've got Austin DeCuna. Hey, Hoggy, your best moment of IPL 2024 so far. RCB had only 2 wins in 7 games in 2016, with Virat in top form and made the final. Do you think RCB can still turn it around if they get tactics right? Austin, definitely they can turn it around just like the Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals. They're still in it, but it's going to be very, very hard for either of those teams out the bottom to turn it around. But I was looking at the fixtures. A lot of those teams are playing against each other twice. So you've got to get that advantage on the other team there to make sure you're rising up that ladder. So RCB have got a chance, but I just think their bowling is going to be crucial. The best moment so far in this IPL, for me, I think it's Sunil Narayan dominating out the top for KKR. That's my team. And the other one is Josh Butler getting 100 the other day in a run chase. A player that's out of form, but sticks to the basics, sticks to his game plan. He showed other young players of how to do it. When you've got to take a risk and you're out of form, you play the shots that you're used to. You go back to basics, and that's what Josh Butler's all about. So that's the 100 from Josh Butler, turning things, getting into form is probably one of the better moments for me in this IPL. There's a few others as well. There's been some great catches. But I think we're going to have one of the bigger moments tonight. I think KKR and CSK are going to go right to the wire tonight. Okay, let's go to the next one. With Hardik currently out of form, should they demote him? Should he demote himself in the batting order with Tim David in form and Shepherd in good touch? This is Anupam. For me, I think that Hardik Pandya should be still coming in out 4. But if they lose, if they don't lose wickets and it gets to about the 12th over, then Hardik Pandya demotes himself there and Tim David comes in around about the 12th over. You've got to give them at least 8 overs, one of Tim David or Shepherd, to be able to make the most of 48 balls. But if they lose early wickets, I don't think you want to expose Tim David or Shepherd too early in the piece. But out the 12th over, definitely time to demote himself. Tushar, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Tim David and Romario Shepherd showed their true mettle yesterday against Delhi Capitals, and Hardik Pandya. I think Hardik Pandya is a good batter. He's a great strike rate, but I think Tim David and Romario Shepherd should bat ahead of him.
Yeah. I think I might have been a bit hard on Hardik, but he's still got to go a little bit harder. He can't have a strike rate like he did yesterday. They did lose 2 early wickets around him, 2 quick wickets in Suryakumar Yadav, who came back, and Tilak Varma. But still, with that batting depth, you've still got to keep going hard. Right, Anupam, he's got another question here. What advice would you give to Onrake Norkie after some dismal performance, especially at the last overs? For me, if I was the bowling coach there, or even if I was Ricky Ponting, I'd be going back to trying to get in touch with his original coach over in South Africa, who helped him develop the action that he's got now to be able to bowl with the pace that he's got, and talk to him about what he thinks has gone wrong with Onrake Norkie's bowling action. I just think he's falling away a little too quickly out delivery. I think he's trying to bowl too quick. I think he's trying to get to the performances that he was in the last couple of years, thinking that he can just do it coming back from injury. I think he's got to take a lot of pressure off himself, just say, right, I've just come out of injury. What are my basics? Right, stick to my basics, and then just try and execute what he's got to execute. For me, I just think he's gone away from basics and he's trying too hard, and that's causing his action to fall away. So it doesn't get as simple as that, because he knows he can do it. It's just a matter of believing in himself or getting that belief back now. And I think I'd be disappointed if Delhi Capitals drop him for the next game rather than just go to the nets and work with him. I'll do a little bit of meditation as well. I can just see it in his body language as well. You might be able to talk about this too, Tushar. One thing that I don't know whether you've been watching the Delhi Capitals, but Norkie just looks as though he's got so much pressure on himself. Every time he gets a wicket, it's just, over celebration. And then he gets a wicket out the back end, and all of a sudden it's just a relief that he's got the wicket. He's just, it was just like it was a bit of luck for me. So for me, I just think he's lost a bit of belief. What do you reckon, Tushar?
Yeah, absolutely. Because during the recent matches, we have seen that Onrake Norkie has not been able to deliver up to his true potential. And the way he celebrates, the way he shows aggression on the field after taking a wicket, that kind of doesn't match. He needs to improve, and especially during the death overs.
Yep,
the team could have won. The team could have won easily yesterday. There, especially for that last over.
Actually, going back to one of the best moments of IPL, I reckon Stubbs' innings under pressure yesterday was one of the best innings. Prithvi Shaw finding form for the Delhi Capitals as well. I love it when he's fully in form. He just looks like he's batting with absolute ease. And the ball that he got out with Boomer yesterday, that was the only ball that was going to get him out yesterday. He was on song. So Prithvi Shaw in form is good for the Delhi Capitals, and that takes away relying on another overseas bat for the Delhi Capitals, and they can strengthen up that bowling lineup if need be. So for me, just with that bit of advice with Onrake Norkie, sometimes when we get under pressure, the fear creeps in, and there's a lot of self-doubt. So one little bit of advice that I can give to you all before I go today is you've got to have a game plan. You've got to have something that you go back to, fall back to when you're under pressure that gives you the basics to get you over those tough moments. And you can ask yourself the question, what are my handbrakes right now? That means, what is not going right now? How can I fix it? If you ask those two simple questions, all of a sudden you can slightly turn things around and get the momentum to go back into your favour moving forward with whatever you're doing. Tushar, thanks very much for joining me. We've got CSK KKR tonight. Who are you going for tonight?
CSK.
CSK, you reckon will win?
Yeah.
Punjab tomorrow. I'm just going to get up the fixtures. We've got Punjab Kings tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we've got Rajasthan Royals, Gujarat Titans, our Jaipur. Who will win that?
Rajasthan Royals.
Rajasthan Royals, definitely for me. Gujarat Titans have got no batting. And then we've got Mumbai Indians taking on RCB on Thursday at Wankhede Stadium.
That's going to be a tough one. So, seeing yesterday's match, I think Mumbai Indians.
Mumbai Indians?
Yes.
I think Mumbai Indians will win that one as well. But Tushar, thanks very much. Is there any last question you want to ask me?
No, I think I got him.
Right. So
Thank you so much, Brad.
I'm expecting Virat Kohli to be on your newsreel in about half an hour.
Yeah.
At NDTV. So Tushar, very good luck with what you're doing there at NDTV. You're an editor there?
Yeah, in Delhi.
Yep, editor in what department?
I'm working with the sports team. The
sports team?
Web sports team.
Yep, right. What's the biggest news? What's news breaking right now before we go? Biggest story.
So I don't know.
I love your honesty. Great stuff, Tushar. But thanks very much, mate. Thanks for joining me. And we'll see you on Friday for another Hog Out. Thanks, guys.